Let's bring in security analyst Yan St Pierre, who's in Berlin for us. We can cross to him now on the Skype. Thank you so much, Mr. St Pierre, for speaking to France 24 this morning. If I could just start, France is currently under a state of emergency, currently at the highest threat level possible. Just how is a scale of this attack possible under these conditions?
First of all, good morning. It's probably the most realistic type of attack because it's something that's not obvious, and many countries have struggled with this type of attack. It was the case in Canada 2 years ago. France has already had some issues like this 2 years ago as well. It's regularly used in Israel by Palestinian groups. So this is really just somebody using a lorry or using a car. It's one of the toughest and most complicated type of attacks to stop. And especially on Bastille Day, large crowds, exhausted security personnel. The mood is good. It's extremely difficult to stop. And we've seen the consequences in Nice now.
What does it say about the state of French security services in general that we can have 3 mass deadly terror incidents in the space of just 18 months?
I think it basically says that they're overwhelmed, and it's not a question of competence. It's really just a question of resources and being overstretched. Your colleague mentioned 7,000 troops. Now François Hollande mentioned as well that he's going to call the reserves. A lot of the people that are former military, former police, the situation is that bad now that they have to go really deep into the reserves. I think the intel agencies are overwhelmed as well. The threat level is very high. They lack personnel, they lack the resources, and there's nothing worse than having to play catch up when you've been rather calm or rather low key for a while, and then suddenly you have to compensate within a few months or a few weeks for years of partial neglect or problems. It's near impossible to compensate for.
Well, what would you say can be done here to try and prevent this sort of attack in future? You say we're playing catch up. I mean, it is time to catch up. What's the solution?
Well, the first real solution is to stop thinking short term. It's very difficult, I understand, for decision makers to provide a 5-year, a 10-year plan, but we're here now. You need a really long-term solution that is multifaceted, that works on different levels at the same time, and you need to root out the causes. I mean, what propels these young men, these young women to start acting? You need the short term, extending the state of emergency, all well, but the fact is you need a plan. You need to start weeding out the problem and not just putting a Band-Aid on it. And France, like many other Western countries, needs to start thinking long-term, thinking as a generation, to start thinking 5, 10, 20 years ahead rather than only a few weeks or a few months ahead.
We'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for bringing that. Yan St Pierre, security analyst based in Berlin. Fascinating analysis then of how to deal with the current security threat here in France. For viewers just joining us this morning,